This video is going to be a look at the missed opportunities the Ravens had offensively in their Week 12 loss to the Jaguars. I will put out a separate video, if not two other ones, about the Ravens' defensive letdowns, particularly in the fourth quarter. I mean, you have to address that. This one is a little bit less obvious. I'm going to try to mention 2 points that shifted away from just drops to strategic or tactical decisions, things that I think were there for us potentially offensively that we didn't take advantage of, particularly against the Jaguars' 5-3 look. I haven't heard it discussed a lot. The Jags, against our 22 personnel, played basically with 3 inside linebackers. I mistakenly thought that they had taken Devin Lloyd off the field completely for Chad Muma. In their 5-3 look, they actually had Muma, Devin Lloyd, and Foye Oluokun on the field. Now, later on in the game, in some of their nickel looks, they did have Devin Lloyd off the field. Not sure if something was wrong with him or whatnot, but hey, the guy they brought in for him, number 42, ended up forcing the fumble on Gus. So we're going to talk about some of the missed opportunities and the blame game, which we all have played in terms of, whose fault is it? How much percentage gets applied to each person or each group or whatever? I mean, at this point, it kind of doesn't matter. I just want to show the film, show the plays, and try to break it down to the best of my abilities. And then you guys can decide for yourselves, to be honest with you. So this is going to be the first possession, I think. The missed touchdown to Demarcus Robinson. I mean, this is just, I think Coach Evans on Twitter, I said it best. I saw like a little minute and 30 video that he put up. You can't miss this. This is absolutely wide open. And to go a little bit deeper, I'm not sure why we didn't take advantage of this situation a little bit more. Guy gets beat as cleanly as he did here, clearly out of position following Andrews, no awareness at all. So, yeah, I mean, Lamar, we missed the throw, obviously. But to me, a larger point, another point on top of this is, did we not attempt to take advantage of this at all later on when clearly on the first possession, this guy got himself out of position. We just weren't able to complete the pass. Huge missed opportunity. All right. This is going to be Andrews' fumble. Well, I mean, we got Andrews shouldn't fumble the football. Like, we were very fortunate to keep the ball there, right? I get that. I don't think Andrews looks 100% to me, but if you're out there, you can't make plays like this. You can't forfeit the football. Andrews fumbled, Lamar fumbled, and Gus fumbled. Now, Lamar's fumble was on a 4th and 1, which I thought was a bad call anyway. I understand he's trying to reach out and get the first down. It really doesn't kind of matter in the grand scheme of things. Now, having said all that, I think if we're reading this should be a give. We're talking about reading this D end here. And we may not be reading it. It may be a called play action just to get it out to Andrews. We do this a lot with Prochet. He goes in motion, runs the wheel. Maybe we'll run a snag with Robinson or something like that. Sometimes to the hash, up the hash. And then Andrews goes out into the flats where this is the read man. It would be great if we came back to this because, man, do we have numbers on the run to our top side. It looks like we're trying to down block Trayvon Walker, who is a man, don't get me wrong. But we've got one puller in Zeitler and a second puller in Moses. Watch when this develops. Look at what you've got. Now, yeah, this guy's reacting to Lamar throwing the football. So were Lamar to give it, he would start moving in this direction. But we have a blocker right here who would be able to pick him up. I'm going to rewind this back so you can see what I'm talking about. It's Macari, the left tackle. Macari's going to combo the D tackle, and he would work right to the backside linebacker. 42 is playing the force, so he's got responsibility in terms of not worried about the pass out into the flats. His responsibility is the running back, so Zeitler picks him up. Boom. Moses, boom. There to pick that guy up. Macari here. Now, does it sound like I'm being critical of Lamar? No, I don't know if it was a read or not. It might not have been. Some of these plays are called. My point is, why didn't we come back to it? Did we come back to it? I don't know. I haven't downloaded every single offensive play yet to be able to tell you definitively. All I know is Andrews fumbled the football. He should not fumble it. That's blame should be applied to him there clearly. And then did we come back to that concept later on? I'm not sure. Third down, I think, down near the goal line. This is an amazing play by Lamar. No one was open initially. He gets it in a position where Demarcus Robinson coming, from the other side of the field, gets to the back of the end zone. Lamar is able to find space. And I feel like this is perfectly thrown. Like, James Lofton talked about just running onto the football. And I mean, James Lofton would know, right? He's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. This is the same play from the end zone angle. Lamar escapes the pressure. He's scanning the whole time. I feel like this is a brilliant play by him. Puts it right where it should be to be caught. I mean, how many times out of 10, if that throw is made, does Demarcus Robinson catch it? I don't know. I feel like it's at least 5, just based on what I've seen of him, if not more. Unfortunately for us, in this case, he didn't hear, and we had to settle for a field goal. When we say we left points out on the field, you can't say we left 7 points on. We didn't leave 7 points on. We left 4. We got 3. It's not like, we would get 10 for the touchdown. We got 3. If we had scored the touchdown there, if Robinson had caught it, we would have gotten 4 more than 3 because we would have got 7. So that doesn't get us from 27 points to 34. That gets us from 27 points to 31 overall. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit of a long explanation. This is the ill-fated third down. I don't know. It still looks like to me we get the first down, but a lot to say about it. I mean, I feel like this is clear. I thought the ball had to get to like the 49, and I guess we'll see it from the sideline view here in a moment. But let's talk about what's going on here. Before the motion, you got Muma, Aluakin, Lloyd on the field, 3 inside backers. And you've got Trayvon Walker, and off screen here, who you'll see in a minute, you got Josh Allen. It's their 5-3. They're doing it against 22 personnel. Fine. I think that's one of the reasons we use 22 personnel is we're looking for someone to kind of overcompensate. But let's talk about what I feel is a miscue here. Powers is looping around. He's got to go get Aluakin, who I think is a great player. I'm going to do a video on him on Tuesday. Like, he's a fantastic player. But you're a starting left guard in the NFL. You've got to be able to expand him a little bit. I'm not saying, his feet are here. You got to be able to knock him back this far. No, but I feel like we've got to be able to expand him a little bit. Watch how Aluakin digs his feet into the ground and basically hard joints Powers back to the inside. When I say hard joint, I mean same foot, same shoulder. So right foot, right shoulder, up underneath Powers, no expansion. Again, also here, Ricard trying to combo this 5 technique with Moses, and Moses would work up to the backside inside linebacker, which I think is Lloyd. Ricard gets beat, crosses Ricard's face, no expansion here. We end up, officially being short on the measurement. I mean, that is how it goes down officially, even though the initial, measurement, the initial spot had us have the first down. Here's the all-22 view. Now, having said all this, I don't know why we didn't come back to this later. It's 22 personnel. They're in their 5-3. The sweep to Duve forces the edge player outside, forces an inside linebacker outside. Come back to it later. This is, you know what they're going to be in. If we're in 22 personnel, they're going to be in their 5-3. I don't know, maybe the spot isn't, it's tough to see from here, and maybe that's why I think initially they took the spot of the ref who was down here on the bottom side. I don't think we see him come in. No, we don't. And then I think they changed it up, and they took this guy's spot who's coming in up here. That's not really the point here. The larger point is that they're in a 5-3 when we're in 22 personnel. You got to figure out a way to take advantage of that. I think there are ways to do that, to be honest with you. Last week, now it's a mirror image of this. Last week against the Panthers, what we did was we ran Duve in motion, and then Robinson was backside. We threw the backside comeback to Robinson. Again, it was a mirrored image. It was up to the other side of the screen. Robinson made the great catch against the Panthers corner on the sideline on, I think, a 3rd and 2, I believe. I think the sweep was there to Duve, and we used it twice later on, so that's good. I think Powers and Ricard got to be better on the blocking. I hate this call. I did not like it. It's 6-0. Our defense is dominating. We don't get much out of our quarterback sneaks consistently, if you ask me. If we're going to do something like this, Ricard needs to be behind Lamar and just push him. It seems like that's what everybody else is doing. It's legal now to do so, whereas when Reggie Bush played, remember they didn't call it then either, even though they should have. All right, now we're going to get into some more missed opportunities. This is a slant flat. When I originally mentioned this in a reaction video, I thought the slant was open to Robinson. Slant flat with Ricard, and Ricard shows his lack of ability to adjust, obviously. The throw is a little low, I guess. As Lamar's pulling the pin on the grenade, Foye-Oluokun sitting here on the inside. He can't throw it here right now. He can't. If he's going to throw it there to Demarcus Robinson, he's got to wait a beat longer until Robinson gets in this window. And even still, there's a linebacker sitting there who, was looking to the other side of the field. Don't get me wrong. My point is, in the reaction video, I thought this was a clear example of the linebacker going with Ricard, and he did not. It's Foye-Oluokun. He played it brilliantly, waited until the ball was thrown, and then attacked. And in this case, it was a little bit low, and Ricard just showed his inability to adjust, obviously, to the football. Great play by Oluokun. All right, the dropped touchdown to Oliver, slightly high, I guess. Lamar's got to throw it over the top of that linebacker, which again is Foye-Oluokun. I think just played a brilliant game. I do like that we're motioning Ricard and Andrews' backside. So it's kind of like making Oliver turn into this like hidden threat that teams aren't paying attention to. Maybe the ball's a little high. I still feel like it's a ball that Josh Oliver wants to catch, that he believes he's able to catch. Would it have been a great catch? Yeah, it certainly would have, but other people make great catches. We've had guys make great catches this year, like I talked about Demarcus Robinson on the sideline last week against the Panthers. All right, this one is a little surprising. I think this kind of shows you that Mark Andrews is not completely healthy yet. I really like the play for number one. It's Andrews in motion, running a wheel. And Arden Key, who is a outside linebacker D-end, is covering him. Is it possibly interference on Arden Key? Yeah, I mean, he does reach out and grab before the ball is there. Has that been called before? Of course it has. Do I think it should be called? No. I just think it's a guy competing. I think Mark Andrews should catch the football. You guys can let me know if you agree or disagree. What it is a brilliant pass by Lamar for the second time in 2 weeks. A beautiful pass of his up the left sideline. Remember the wheel? It was a late developing wheel to Ricard. It's not designed to be a wheel, to be honest with you. And then he turns it upfield. Great throw by Lamar that was dropped. And in this case, this one was dropped as well. We definitely had 4 drops last week against the Panthers. Other people said they thought it was 5 and 6. I didn't see that many, but 4 is significant if you ask me. I mean, hell, we probably had 5 or 6 this week. We've got 4 in this video. And this one's even more shocking. Devin Duvernay, I don't know that I've ever seen him drop a pass. Have you? Have you seen him drop a pass, something like this? He didn't look healthy to me. The kickoff return was very weird, where he kind of ran backwards. 2 of the sweep plays, he looked okay. By the way, I'll do a video Tuesday night on Trayvon Walker versus Patrick McCarry. Trayvon Walker is a tremendous talent. I'm a really big fan. I'm shocked at how poorly he did against Patrick McCarry. And I don't mean just situations where they were chipping him. I mean situations like this where there's no move being developed at all. And he's just getting locked up by a guy who is, the Ravens' 3rd or maybe 4th best offensive tackle, depending on your opinion of Daniel Falele. I think so far you've seen a lot of missed opportunities, clearly. Demarcus Robinson, a drop in the end zone. Lamar overthrowing Demarcus Robinson on the first play I showed you. Josh Oliver, clearly capable of catching that ball that's, I guess slightly high. I really don't care if you think it's high or not. It doesn't matter to me. It's a ball that Oliver could catch. If it's a foot lower, does he have a better chance to catch it? Yeah, but there's a linebacker in the window, so 2 touchdowns plus 4 in each situation because I believe we had to settle for field goals in both of those situations. I'm not going to show you Andrews' drop in the end zone because we scored a touchdown 2 plays later, so we did get the 7 points. To me, so far, we're -8 on points. We could have had 8 more points. And then this play gives the Jags 3 points. There's just no way to lose this football game if one of the following 3 things happens. Either Robinson catches that touchdown in the back of the end zone, or Oliver catches his, or Gus doesn't show really bad ball security here after making his cut. It's a great play by this little number 42, who it looks like did replace Devin Lloyd in certain situations. This is 21 personnel, though. So 21 personnel, they weren't going with a 5-3. They were going with like a 4-3. So they were switching defenses being multiple. Watch what Gus does. Watch his elbow flare right there. And that's when, on the next step, is when this guy comes in. Elbow flares back. You just can't do that. I think it was Belichick did a study. I'm not sure for how long, how many years. It was something like 70% of fumbles occurred not from the defender you're making a cut on or the defender that you're seeing. Because, like, here, Gus is making his cut off this backside D tackle. Fumbles don't occur from the defender you see. They occur from the defender you don't see. And I think it was Kirby Smart talked about that study. University of Georgia went up and studied or sat in on a lot of Patriots practices. Here's the guy that's going to force the fumble. Really shocking to me that Gus fumbled his football. Not anything I expect from him at all. Just not the way I view him. Again, this is the player that he's aware of, making a cut off of, actually making a second cut off of. He's cutting it back originally and then bending it all the way back, which you really don't do a ton of on stretch, but he's got great vision. And then it's the guy you don't see. Look at the elbow flare up. That right there is very uncharacteristic of Gus Edwards. I've never seen him do that. I've never seen Devin Duvernay drop a wide open 5-yard pass out into the flats. I guess once seen Mark Andrews drop a touchdown in the end zone like he did. But again, we got 7 points there. If we don't fumble this football or we catch one of those touchdown passes, DeMarcus Robinson and or Josh Oliver, we can't lose this football game. You know, the missed opportunities offensively set the stage for another collapse in the fourth quarter defensively. I mean, you gave up 18 points in the last 6.5 minutes or maybe 6 minutes, something like that. You know, that's terrible. You cannot justify either side of the ball with the way they played over the course of 60 minutes. Can't turn the ball over, can't have drops, can't overthrow wide open receivers, and DeMarcus Robinson was wide open. But like, if you get sensitive by me saying that about Lamar, just don't watch my channel. Just don't. Because I'm just going to say what I observe it to be a fact. That's an overthrow, period. Now the throw to Mark Andrews up the sideline that Arden Key defended him on, that's a beautiful throw. Like, why does one of those things trigger some of you and one of them does not? It's weird, really weird from adults. Let me know what you think of the missed opportunities we had offensively. You know, blame should be applied to both sides, don't get me wrong. But to me, those situations, players were put in position to succeed. Defensively, I haven't had time to look at the coverages yet. It's Monday night late. I don't know that players were put in position to succeed defensively and just didn't make the plays. I don't know that as I record this video. What I do know, and you do know now if you sat through this whole video, offensive players were put in position to succeed. So, like, if you're going to blame Greg Roman, if you're going to blame no, ain't nobody out there blaming T. Martin. They only blame one guy. Nobody's blaming the receivers coach. Nobody's blaming the tight ends coach, the O-line coach. They only blaming one guy who doesn't even spend time teaching nor running drills for people how to catch the ball. We dropped the ball. We overthrew a touchdown. We left points on the field. Period. If we score any of those, if we score any of those or don't fumble this ball by Gus, we win the football game. Having said that, I'll do a defensive video that is going to be just as critical. If it appears as if guys were put in position to succeed, and then they just blew the coverages, or they didn't read things well, like the corner for the Jags on that first pass I showed you to Demarcus Robinson. He played that horribly, number 31. I don't even remember him being in the game a ton later on in the game, so maybe they took him out. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think of the video, what you think of another extremely disappointing loss where blame should be thrown in all directions, obviously, players and coaches. But for me, when players are put in position to succeed, like ours were on offense, and they just don't make the plays, that becomes glaringly obvious. Like, dudes got to show up to play, and dudes have to make the plays that they practice and that they were drafted and they're paid to do. I'll get a chance to look at the defensive film tonight and then Tuesday and put out a defensive video focusing on our coverages in the fourth quarter, how we were able to blow another lead, this time 19-10, with about 6.5 minutes left, something like that. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments section.